It's day 3. Congratulations. I'm so glad you guys made it. I'm so glad you're here. Yesterday was really heavy, and we'll talk about that. Scott's in the chat, supporting me with anything you guys need. So if I'm not able to look at the comments, he will be putting links or whatever else we need in there, or be adding or editing, or just any questions you have, you can ask him and he will be fielding those. So my intention, as I said, is to show up in those ways, empowered in my body, present, grounded, loving. And it's really important that we show up this way in general, because how we show up in our own bodies is how other people are either going to rise up to meet us, or if they can't rise up to meet us, or if they're not on that same vibration, then they fall away. So know that if there are people or energies that are around you that are no longer serving you, or they're uncomfortable, know that however you show up in your own lives, those people will either fall away lovingly, or they will kind of hang around till they realize that's not my jam right now. And that's good. That's okay. That's what life is about, right? So today I really want to focus on being safe in our bodies, and being the source of what we're calling into our lives, okay? Again, it's day 3. Welcome. 3 is about creation. So write that down. Day 3, creation. It's time now that we've broken down and looked at all of these things in our lives that maybe weren't working, heavy things that may or may not be serving us. What can we do now? Now that we have kind of broken open, there's things that are coming up to be looked at, or that are making us feel uncomfortable. How can we make ourselves feel safe first? Okay? How can we make ourselves feel safe first and show up in a way that is empowering, okay, for not only ourselves, but for everyone around us? Doesn't mean we need to do anything. It just means that it's about our energy and how we're showing up, right? So first of all, I want to acknowledge you guys for everything. I wish I could do a full video, a full hour of just acknowledging every single person. Because as I go through the comments, as I go through my messages, as I go through my emails, as I go through the comments that you guys are leaving, your homework assignments, everything that is going on, the interactions between people, the connections that people are making with one another, it's nothing short of miraculous. So I want you to take a second to acknowledge each other, acknowledge yourselves, and really breathe into what you're creating here. And know that even if you feel broken down, heavy, uncomfortable, crying, a mess, know that you're supported by all of us in this energy. So even if you're alone and you're hiding, we are all here. So you're feeling us, we're feeling you, even if you don't feel like you're feeling it, okay? We're all here together. So I just want to acknowledge all of you for showing up so powerfully these last few days and continuing to show up. Those of you that are here, you are the bravest human beings I know in the world. So give yourselves a hug, be gentle with yourself, know that stuff's going to come out, release it, be open to release it. I've heard a lot in the chats today about gratitude and forgiveness. I think it's really important to know that gratitude and forgiveness take time, A, and B, that when we say I'm committed to being in a state of gratitude about what I've been through, and I'm also committed to being in a state of ownership about what's been going on, like I decided this and it's now time to decide this, and as I move forward, these are the decisions I will now make. So you're taking ownership for your life, you're creating a safe space for yourself, okay? So kudos to you guys. I'm so excited, proud, happy, and just really overjoyed at the experience that we're all creating here. So if you want, please leave takeaways from the homework, takeaways, things that you have been feeling, whether it's messy, sad, joy, dancing around your living room, crying in a puddle on the floor, whatever it is, be seen. We are here to be witnessed. We're here in this life to be witnessed and not to be given advice to, but just to be witnessed. And of course, like I said yesterday, if we get feedback, we say I'm open to get feedback, but we get to have an exchange, right? An equal energy exchange that is based on holding each other up high and lifting each other up high, okay? I also forgot to mention yesterday that you can have different attachment patterns to different things. So I know a lot of people were like, I don't know what my attachment pattern is. Okay, we can have a lot of different attachment patterns to different things. For instance, my attachment pattern to my mom is anxious and safe. My attachment pattern to my dad is disorganized. My attachment pattern to money is anxious, disorganized, avoidant. There's a whole lot of different attachment patterns we can have to different things. And I want to acknowledge you all for it, because on your homework, I noticed this without even having told you this yesterday. You figured it out on your own, and you just knew, I know I'm not supposed to have one or know what is going on at this moment in time. It also reminded me that, again, like I said yesterday, when I went through learning about attachment patterns, I had the same ahas where I was like, I don't know what I am. I don't know what's going on. If I'm safe with my mom and I'm disorganized with my dad, how am I supposed to decide what I am and where it goes from there? Remember, get out of your intellectual brain and into your body. All of the wisdom in your awareness is in your body. So as you get into your body and breathe into that space, you don't have to ask it questions. You just have to breathe and say, I'm here with you, I'm safe. I'm here with you, I'm safe. The information will come as it's supposed to. Know that you are divinely being guided, and you are being given divine breadcrumbs when you are ready. If you're not ready, maybe you're just going to be in a state of beautiful mess for a while, okay? And that's okay. All of it is beautiful and perfect for where you are. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. It's so great to see hearts. So I know, because I can't be paying attention to comments all the time, so when I see your little hearts and likes, it really helps me a lot. Okay, so I forgot to mention yesterday that you can have different attachment patterns to different things. And I wanted to acknowledge the resistance that's coming up. Day 3 is a tough day. Day 3 is a tough day in any training. Day 3 is the day that a lot of people drop off. Day 3 is the day that people resist. Scott Engler put up an amazing comment or post in our group today about resistance coming up and how natural that is, and how it's okay to feel like, oh shit, I don't want to do this anymore, or oh my god, I gotta run away, or oh, someone's calling me, I gotta go. Or we are so powerful, you guys, we are so powerful that when we're in a state of resistance and we're scared, remember where our energy is, things and people rise up to meet us. So say we uncovered attachment patterns. Fear came up around those attachment patterns. All of a sudden, someone calls you. Your son, something happened. He's not feeling well. You got to come to the school. All of a sudden, you'll have to go to the school and you'll miss out on a training or something that you had signed up to do. That is fear coming up, meeting you where you are, if you're in a fear state, in order to try to keep you from your path so it can keep you safe. Safety, as we're talking about today, fear, productive fear versus unproductive fear. Productive fear can be good in that you're looking around and you're on it, you're curious, you're like questioning things, but not to where it's holding you back or where you are allowing yourself to be taken off the path toward healing, okay? I know it's hard sometimes to stay on the path toward healing when it feels so yucky sometimes, but resistance is gonna come up, it's natural, it's really how you rise up to meet it. So the best way to rise up to meet it is to get in your body, get present, get grounded, breathe, and say, okay, all of this is coming up to come out, and I'm committed to ... Let's get into the content. I'm excited. Today is awesome because, like I said, it's going to be more grounded. We're going to be present. We're going to be talking about how fear shows up in our lives, and this is perfect. You guys, I could not have scheduled this perfectly, and I have to tell you, I'm going to be really vulnerable and real that when I created this workbook, I did not know what order things would go in. I literally sat down, asked God to speak through me, asked God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, to speak through me, and I wrote out the outline really fast. So this is all divinely guided. You are here for a reason. You were divinely guided here. Don't think it's any different. There are no coincidences. So you are here for a reason. And the fact that we're talking about fear right after we've kind of peeled off layers that make fear come up in us is no accident. So everything has been divinely set up to get us to the place we are at now. So right now we get to talk about fear and how to keep ourselves feeling protective and safe so that fear doesn't consume our lives, but so that we can use the energy of fear to actually support us. That is actually what I do in my full-time intuitive job as Erin Inspirational with Erin Gallagher. That's my company. What I really do with that is help people transform their pain or discomfort, as the name of the group says, into purpose. So I help people and I support people in taking anything that makes them feel like it's holding them back, transmuting and transforming that energy into purpose, into forward momentum. So this money training is just part of what I do. But you can use fear as a very, very powerful tool in your toolbox to move forward with power and grace, okay? And so we're going to talk about the differences between productive fear and unproductive fear, because there are just a few small shifts that you can make, in order to shift into that productive fear. And you can do it on a dime. So you'll be in a state of unproductive fear, like, oh crap, or worry, or toxic stress, or whatever it is. You can go to the bathroom for 2 minutes, breathe, and say, okay, this fear is here. I feel you. How can we productively use this yucky energy and transmute it into something that moves me forward with power and purpose? Okay, so that's going to be really important in today's content. All right, I'm going to just quickly get hydrated. So everyone take some deep breaths. Do whatever you need to do to get present and grounded before we start the content. Take a drink of water. Take 5 drinks of water. Tell me what you're drinking right now. If you have water, if you have a drink, margarita, I don't know. I mean, it's 5 o'clock. Oh, I was going to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but 5 o'clock start. 5 o'clock, it's 5:15 somewhere. And again, we have some beautiful women here from Australia, so it's Thursday somewhere too. All right, just wanted to quickly maybe go through some comments, see if anyone, what's going on. Oh, everyone's saying happy birthday to Kyrie. That's amazing. Erin says, I have a protein drink. Yeah, girl, I get a protein drink every morning. Oh, look at all these happy birthdays. Y'all are the freaking best. Yep. Violet says, I thought day 2 was challenging. Yes, day 2 is challenging, but you know what? You are still here. You made it back to day 3. Remember, 3 is about creation. So 1 is about self, showing up. 2 is about balance. Ooh, balancing act. And then boom, we got hit with the attachment patterns. 3 is about creation. So what are we going to create with this, right? So we're going to look into how to take the energy that we have and transmute it into safety. Look, everyone's saying day 3. Look at all this. Hi, Mimi. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Scott. Hi, Jonathan. Oh my God, I love you guys. Okay, so let's get into the content, what we're all here for. Scott says, drinking nothing. So excited. Get some water, sir. I can't help. I'm a Cancer. I'm a nurturer. I want everyone to have water. Okay, so workbooks. All right, first thing, looking at our relationship with fear. Productive fear. Notice I put productive fear first so you wouldn't all go like, oh my God, we have to talk about fear. I'm scared already. Okay, productive fear. There are a few things I wrote down for productive fear, and here we go. Awareness. So if you're in a fear state and you don't want to be in that state, or you want to go, oh, Erin told me to transmute this fear, but all I can think is the word fear for fear. I'm not sure how to do that. Awareness. Think of the word awareness. Think of an animal or someone that's about to get attacked, and they go, fear will bring you to attention, will make you go, okay, something's going on here. There's something's wrong. Something feels fishy. Tapping into my intuition. I know fear. So fear is there to save you and protect you, right? So what we want to make sure of is that fear is protecting us and keeping us safe, but not keeping us to where we feel like we need to hole up in our house because we need to survive, okay? So there's a difference between, ooh, fear's there to protect me, but I'm going to take what fear works for me to keep me protected, and anything else that makes me feel less than and is just about stress and worry, we're going to release that, okay? So really thinking about transforming that fear into awareness, hyper-awareness sometimes, but not hypervigilance, okay? I was talking to one of the women in this training about hypervigilance, and that's another unproductive fear, right? Unproductive fear, hypervigilance. So productive fear would be vigilant or listening, curious, intuitive, but not to the point where it's ruining your life or you're in a state of fear or worry. Okay, ways that you can shift on a dime. Scott and I, when we did our own Money Mastermind program, what we would do is sing. So sing out of the blue, start laughing out of the blue, go and take a run, go do something to get yourself out of the situation you're in. So say you're in a state of like, say you're doing your budgeting because you're like, okay, Erin told me to do healthy, responsible budgeting around my money. I don't want to suffocate it, but I also want to be like being responsible and loving to my money. And I'll talk to you in a second about how you can show up as a responsible and loving adult to your child of money. But it's really about, okay, I'm feeling in a state of fear about it though, so this budgeting, it's great, I'm doing well at it, but I'm gonna take a step back because I'm realizing I have rent and this and that due, and that's not the amount of money I have in my bank account, and I'm kind of freaking out. Okay, breathe, go outside, walk, get present in your body and say, man, I am so grateful to be alive. Or turn on a song that you really like. For me, it's Nirvana. I love heavy metal. I love punk rock. I know looking at me, you guys wouldn't think that. I am a heavy metal freak fanatic. I love punk rock. I love writhing around on the floor, dancing, pulling my hair. Okay, I'm not pulling my hair out, but I love to let my body go and just really get into feeling like just letting myself go. I am recovering perfectionist, recovering people pleaser. So for me, when I get stuck in stuff, I really get stuck in I need to look a certain way or I need to act a certain way or I freeze because of my disorganized pattern, okay? So what I do is blast Nirvana and I get in my pajamas or I mess up my hair and I run around the house and I headbang and I mosh and I freak out, okay? So that will, dancing, doing any kind of movement with your body is gonna knock the fear right out of you, okay? Because fear gets stuck in your body. And when you move your body or you sing or you do something that's completely out of what you think that the fear is going to do, it will knock you out of that, okay? So really, that is a great tip for shifting your vibration out of fear. Make sure that you take a second to acknowledge the fear first, okay? Fear, you're here. Okay, I get it. You feel like constriction in my throat. Oof, okay, I got it. Constriction is going on in my throat. Now I'm going to sing to break up that constriction in my throat. Speak it out loud. Say it. You know what I mean? If you need to go into the bathroom and lock the door because your kids are like yelling at you or whatever, go into the bathroom, lock the door, start singing. Your kids are going to be like, what is mom doing? And they're either going to sing along with you or they're going to start laughing because they're like, I have no clue what's going on. You're going to knock not only yourself out of your fear state, but anyone around you that is at that same vibration because you've brought them into your area with you will lighten up with you because they'll go, oh, she's in her play state. Okay, so go into a play state or a moving your body because fear will freeze up your body. And when you don't let it freeze, then it's free, okay? So awareness. So like when a deer sees a hunter. So being open to the signs of fear, but not to where they keep you or hold you back or freeze you in place, okay? Next thing, checking up on your money like you would a child that you want to make sure is okay. So remember how I was saying about when you're budgeting and you're sitting there just like, I know everyone's been here, this state, where you're just looking at your budget or doing your checkbook or whatever. I'm an old school person, so I still have a register. I'm writing everything down, like little perfect. Oh no, there's been a little ink splot and I have to wipe that off. Like that's how perfectionist I am. So we want to make sure that like we're doing our budget, but we're not getting so stuck in it looking perfect or being perfect that we're freaking ourselves out. So checking up on your money, not to where you're looking at your bank account every second, or you, if for you avoidant types, if you're running away all the time, something safe, some kind of safe, productive fear for you would be to set an intention to look at your bank account more. So that's going to be fear, but it's going to be productive fear because you set an intention saying, I know this is going to be scary because I'm usually avoidant, but when I show up and I'm not avoidant, even if it's a very small thing, I am slowly but surely changing that pattern. And the neural pathway that has been created is slow. It's like when you're riding a bike and there's a huge divot and your bike tire falls into it, you're going to have to get out and look at your bank account, okay? And then you're going to fall back into the avoidance. And then you're going to have to go back out and go back into that new area that you're trying to build, right? And then you're going to fall back in. You got to keep building that momentum on the other line, on the other track, and keep creating a new neural pathway so that you get to a point where you're not falling back into the old one, okay? So that takes time. It takes time, and it also takes a lot of gentleness and love for the self. So as you're slowly but surely, that's why fear comes after the patterns, because you recognize the patterns, you go, oh crap, I'm screwed. You let it go. You go, okay, actually this is getting me into a fear state, which is good because then I can take that fear and use it in a productive way. So the productive way is slowly but surely going against the patterns that you usually do, and even the tiniest things are going to support you, and do that so that you can slowly build up and create that new neural pathway towards safety in your body. So checking up on your money like you would a child that you make sure is okay. So for moms out there, or for anyone that is maternal in nature or nurturing, think about if a child that you're either watching or someone that you really love, think about someone you love the most. Think about, for me, it's my niece. My niece is my angel. She's my life. I would literally do anything for this girl. She is just, I could go on and on about my niece because she saved our lives. She saved our lives of our family when she was born. So, and I know a lot of you understand when a child is born, how that happens. So what I do when I think about this is I think about my niece Tiana crying, and I think about her asking me for help. Would I say, go away, I don't have time for you. I'm really busy, you know what? And your crying is really giving me a headache. If your fear was coming up to you and crying, do you think that doing that would help? Obviously not. But know that your fear or anything like that comes to you crying is not coming to you to be malicious. It's coming to you to be loved and to be looked at. So with my niece, what I would do is if she was in a quandary and didn't know what to do, I'd say, Tiana, I love you. I support you and honor your process. And no matter how you come to me, whether it's a mess or whether it's tired or whether it's talking about harming yourself, whatever it is, I do not judge you at all. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm only here to hold my arms open to you, love you, hold you, hug you, make you feel secure and safe in my arms. And I will do anything to make sure that happens. Okay? So that's how you want to talk to your fear. Everything that comes to you in distress is not coming to you to make your life a living hell. It's coming to you to get love and to be acknowledged. Just like your niece or your sister or your mom or your coworker or your best friend or anyone in your life that you really, really love, that if they came to you in a state like that, you would not push them away and say, get the hell away from me. You would say, what can I do to support you? Okay? So that's what you're going to want to do with this type of fear. So asking, are you okay? I just want to make sure that you know that you are loved and taken care of, or that you are loved and you are safe. So that's what you want to do when that's productive fear, right? So if you're in a state like, oh God, I think that there's a problem with my niece or there's a problem with someone, you wouldn't say, get away from me, or deal with it on your own, or I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm running away. You would say, okay. And even if the person that comes to you triggers something in yourself, you know that when you love that person enough, or when you love that person so deeply, you don't care what your own triggers are. You will do anything to be with them and to support them, okay? That's the same thing for your fear or any other thing that's showing up to be looked at, acknowledged, and loved, okay? So making sure you're doing that. Also, when I'm going to go back a little bit to when we're talking about productive fear still. So if you're having any takeaways about productive fear, make sure you're writing it here, or you have another journal or something to write down all your takeaways about productive fear. Next thing is, like I was saying, when you're looking at your budget or you're looking at your money, knowing what's in your bank account, but not being attached to it staying there or else. So making sure that you're looking at your money, you're being responsible for it, but even if there's 0.3 cents in there, even if there's 3 pennies in your bank account, that you're still loving that money and you're still saying that you're not attached to it staying there or else. Because if you're attached to it staying there or else, there's a hoarding mentality that happens, but there's also a survival. There's a thing that comes in that says, I need this money to survive and to be of value in life. And if I don't have something external around me to support me, I'm dead, I'm dying, I can't live. Okay? Money is important for survival. It's true. We do need money for our basic survival needs. We are a capitalist, consumerist society that has money. We have to get over the fact that that's how it is. It's like someone with either a food addiction. You have to deal with food being in your life every day. So yes, we need money for survival, but we don't want to make sure we're so attached to it where we can't do anything. And I'll talk about this, that we're frozen, right? And we'll talk about this later when, actually, maybe we should talk about it now. Okay, I'm going to talk about this now because this is a little bit of productive and unproductive fear. So Catherine Morrow, one of my dear friends who has been showing up so amazingly in this group, you've probably seen all of her posts. She's showing very vulnerably, sharing her heart and her soul, and doing work that she hasn't done in decades and decades and decades. She's looking at stuff in her childhood that she hasn't looked at for decades and decades and decades, right? 50 plus years. So first of all, let's acknowledge her. But also, she was talking about the survival aspect of not being able to pay rent or being a bag lady, right? So our mind, when we think about not being able to pay rent or not being able to pay for things for survival, especially if we have families, oh gosh, the worry that comes up with that, right? The first thing we think is, I'm not going to be able to pay rent or do this, which means I will die, right? We go right to I will die. There's no like, oh, I won't be able to pay rent, so maybe someone will support me. Nope, we go right into I'll be evicted, right? So I want you to, another tip or a trick that will support you through any fear that comes up is to really go through the fear. So let's say your fear is, I can't pay rent this month. Okay, let's say that you can't pay rent this month. Let's get really neutral about it. Let's really go into the story of if that really did happen. So if you are a catastrophizer, I don't know if that's a word, and you catastrophize things, go into if that really did happen. Instead of this hypothesis of this is going to happen and I'm going to die, let's go into if it really did happen. So let's make the example of I can't pay rent. Okay, I can't pay my rent. All right, then what? Okay, so if I can't pay my rent, I'll get evicted. Okay, you've been evicted. Then what? Okay, so if I'm evicted, I'm in a space where I have a lot of stuff that was in my apartment or in my home that I don't have the space for anymore. So I would, I guess, go on Craigslist or eBay or do a sidewalk sale and just sell all of it. Okay, so you've been evicted. You have to sell all of your stuff. Now what? Okay, so I've sold all my stuff. Wait, okay, so I've sold all my stuff, which means I have money from selling my stuff. Okay, so with the money I sold my stuff for, I can get a storage shed. Okay, you got a storage shed. Now what? Okay, so for the few stuff that I have left over, which now that I think about it, all that stuff that I had for years and years wasn't really supporting me or serving me, and it feels way better to not have that stuff. And the little stuff I do have, I can put in a storage shed. Awesome. Okay. So you've been evicted. All your stuff is gone. You've sold it all. Now you have money. You have a storage shed. Now what? Oh, now I kind of have a little bit more freedom. I can use the extra money that I would have had to pay on rent to pay someone to stay on their couch. I know my Aunt Kathy, like, she's really loving, and I feel like she'd let me stay on her couch, and I'll just pay her or cook meals for her if I can't afford it. Okay, so now you're cooking meals for your aunt, and, okay, do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Really get into the story of if this really did happen. And I want you to walk through each step so that you can tell your fear, because you're talking to your fear. You want your fear to know that, okay, even if we did go through this, we're not going to die. Okay? Because your fear goes right to, we're going to die. And it starts setting up survival mechanisms to keep you from dying, which is a lot of bad behavior and a lot of bad energy and juju, which, like I said earlier, will pull in more bad energy and more bad things happening to you because the cycle, right? So that's another tip or trick for getting through that, is to actually follow the catastrophe and see what would actually happen if you did that. Okay, so that is productive fear, all right? So that is productive fear. Next, we're going to be talking about unproductive fear. Okay, so unproductive fear. Actually, I'm feeling called to look at a few of these comments. You guys, I'm such a social person that I want to be like talking to you guys and hanging out with you guys the whole time. Oh, I love how Janet is like, uses puzzles. So if you have puzzles or something else that you can take your mind off your analysis paralysis or your fear by like doing something other than, unless you're avoiding something that you're supposed to be doing by doing a puzzle, and don't do that. Okay. Yes, Carolyn says, when I get fearful, I turn on loud music and twerk it out. Love that. Oh, now I can't move my comments. I was going to say, maybe that's now telling me that I need to stop looking at comments. Okay. All right. Taking another deep breath. Drinking some water. Remember, yesterday was really heavy, so today I want to make sure we're taking time to have safety in our bodies, to breathe, to love ourselves and one another, and drink water. I love you guys so much. Literally, like, I have so much love. Like, every day, all day, my roommate is like, she's not tired of me saying this because I'm bouncing off the walls, excited, and I'm like, I'm like Disney princess. I'm like, oh, these people are so wonderful. And, like, I wake up every day, like, literally my whole life. You guys are just amazing. Thank you for showing up the way you've been showing up. Okay, unproductive fear. Unproductive fear with money shows up in ways like fear of spending any money at all. So I can't spend any money. I'm hoarding. You just don't spend any money because you're afraid that if you spend it, it's going to be gone and blah, blah, blah. So hoarding money or saving money to the point of obsessively checking it to where, like I said yesterday, like you can only have $1,000 in the bank account and you must keep it at 1,000 and you can't go over and you got to make sure. So hoarding money, it's the same thing as hoarding belongings or staying in a safe place because you're scared to go outside. So it all is related to this hoarding survival mentality. So fear of spending any money is how unproductive fear might show up in your life. Also, I talk about this a lot. I talk about the toxic energy of worry. Okay? When you get into a worry space, worry is a very unproductive fear. For example, say you have someone in your life that is making horrible choices and you don't agree with their choices and you are afraid for their lives and you want to help them, but you can't. Know that you are completely powerless over someone else's life, and even if they're your own child or your mom or your dad, you just don't have any power over their lives. And the second part of that is that when you show up in a state of I'm worried about you, what that says to the person is, I don't trust that you know how to take care of your own life. I don't trust that you got this. I don't trust that you can make it out of your life alive. What do you think this subconsciously or unconsciously tells your loved ones? It tells them, you don't trust me, you don't really love me. What you want for me is to make you feel better and has nothing about my well-being. Okay? So the next time you find yourself saying, I'm worried about you, or I'm worried about this, or I'm worried about that, know that what you're saying to yourself and to your loved ones is, I don't trust that you can make it out of this. So when you're constantly saying that to yourself, you may want to also think about your attachment patterns. Were there people in your lives that said, I don't believe in you. I don't believe that you can do this. Know that you're going to show up and do that for two other people or yourself. So being aware, again, remember, awareness is the key. Like when a deer sees a hunter, that's awareness. You're like, oh, I see that happening. Okay, so now that I see that happening, I can take steps to stop that from happening. All right, so being aware of it, though it is painful and heavy, is the first step. Okay, so it's very important, awareness is attached to this worry. Because I know when I'm bringing up this stuff, a lot of people in the comments will say, oh, I do that. And I want you to really focus on shifting into a space of, yes, I do that. Okay, so next time, that's one tool I'm going to tell you for unproductive fear. Next time you hear me say something and you're like, oh my God, I do that, I suck. I want you to, take a second to be like, oh my God, I do that, I suck. And then be like, wait, I do that. Awesome. Oh my God, I am so unproductive with my fear. I totally do that. That is so great that I do that. You know why? Because I'm aware of it now. Okay, so that's another thing about popping out of fear when you're in it, is to celebrate it. So that's another thing that Scott and I did in our other mastermind training, is that whenever we did something that we thought was shameful or bad or terrible, or we even like said something to someone where we're like, oh my God, I'm always judging that person. I'm such a terrible person. Why don't I let them live their lives? Stop for a second and say, first of all, I'm aware of this pattern. Second of all, how can I celebrate that I've just become aware of this pattern? I'm going to go get some ice cream. So instead of self-deprecation, instead of making yourself feel like shit, instead of shame and blame, take a second to feel the shame and to feel like, ugh, I feel like crap about that. But I'm going to celebrate that I have awareness around it and that I'm breaking those patterns now. I have an intention and an awareness and a commitment to break those patterns now. Yes. Okay. That's a yes moment. So take that yes moment and go get some ice cream with it. Okay. Another form of unproductive fear. Another thing I want to say about the toxic energy of worry is that it is detrimental and deteriorative. I think that's how you say the word. So you will not only deteriorate your spirit, your emotional spirit, but you will deteriorate everyone around you, because they're going to rise up or lower down to meet you where you are and show up in a way that you want to see other people around you show up. And know that your friends and family are sticking by you and sticking with you because they're waiting for you to come out of your shell. They're waiting for you to be in your yes moment so they can say, that's the person I've been waiting around for. Okay, so if you're always a victim or always complaining, which complaining is a sign of unmet needs, that's another thing I want you to write down. Complaining is a sign of unmet needs. That has nothing to do with this, but it just came in divinely, so I'm going to say it, so write it down. What did I just say? Complaining is a sign of unmet needs. So if you're always complaining, you have unmet needs. Again, yes. Oh, she said that. Whoa, that just opened up a whole space. I had no clue that when I'm complaining all the time, I have needs that are unmet. Yes moment. Now I know that, instead of, oh my God, I do that. Okay. Yes moment. I do that. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So take that with you. That's a little thing that just came out of nowhere. What was I even talking about? Okay. Oh yes. It's deteriorative. So worry, stress, all that stuff, it's going to deteriorate your body. It's going to deteriorate you emotionally. And when you're in that level of energy, everything else in your life is going to come in at that energy. So by breaking those patterns and going outside and running, or going and getting some ice cream, or doing something to celebrate yourself or celebrate your yes moment, is going to break that pattern on the spot. And all these amazing things that have been waiting on the sidelines are going to come in, including support from your family. They're going to say, this is the person I've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. They won't even know. They'll be like, oh my God, this is why I've been here so long. Okay. So that's going to support you. All right. Next thing is the fear of debt or being attached to money for your survival. We've already talked about being attached to money for your survival, but let's talk about debt, baby. So this is where this part of the training comes in. Now, when I wrote this, I originally had little musical notes because I wanted it to be like to the tune of let's talk about sex, let's talk about debt, baby. Okay, now you really know I'm an 80s and 90s baby. But let's talk about debt, baby. But when I put the musical notes in there and then I tried to print it, it came out as little blocks. So I was like, dang it, taking away my music. So let's talk about debt. All right. This is a big one for a lot of people. The first point I want to make about debt is that, like any other energy, there is unproductive debt and there is productive debt. I know a lot of you are saying productive debt, that's bullshit. I honor that and listen. I honor that and listen. So think about, and even say down in the chat if you'd like to, positive and good investments that invest in your business, your personhood, your family, good investments, good debt. So if you were to go into debt or to take out a credit card or a loan for something like starting a business, that's good debt. Okay, that's money coming in to support you. Even if later you're gonna have to pay double or whatever, it doesn't matter. Money is coming in to support you. So if you're constantly in a fear state around money and you're saying, oh my God, I can't believe I have to take out money for this and that and this and that, you're still in a fear state, you're still in a complaining state, and you're gonna keep getting that in, and you're not realizing that, oh my gosh, I have been gifted with this money to be able to start my own business. Even if it fails, oh my God, I'm supported by everyone and everything because I'm being given, like, God, the universe, source is coming in to support this for me. I am so grateful. I am so supported right now. So instead of thinking about all the bad things about debt that people have told us, there's a lot about debt that we have been programmed to believe that it is bad, that our credit's going to go down, that whatever we've been trained to believe around debt. Let that go right now. And I want you to start listing some positive investments and some not so positive investments. So maybe say that you're trying to survive and put food on your plate every day, and then you go out and buy a Ferrari. And you're like, let's say somebody in your family dies, you get a bunch of money and you got to buy a Ferrari when you can barely put food on your table. That's probably not the best investment. I'm not saying that buying a car, something that you want because you want it, is bad, but if it's taking away from something that you need it for that's a little more productive in the moment, then it may not be the best investment, right? So investing in things that will support you and your family and your business and everything else is good debt, okay? So know that there are goods and bads energy to everything, and that it's okay to be in debt. So I want us to start filling in these things here. It's not debt that's the problem, okay? It's not debt that's the problem. It's your fear of debt that's the problem, okay? It's not debt that's the problem. It's your fear of debt that's the problem. So if you are in debt, that is neutral. Everything in our lives is neutral. The only reason it becomes joyful, sad, depressing, downright despair rendering is because we put feelings and attach things to things. So everything is neutral. Death is neutral. A baby being born is neutral. Going to the store is neutral. Sitting in this chair right now is neutral. This bottle of water is neutral. Everything is neutral. We create stories and emotion and attach emotions to things. So things become either amazing and wonderful because we attach an emotion to it, or they become terrible and desperate because we attach a desperate energy to it. So what I want you to do is start getting into the awareness of, oh, I do that, yes moment. Okay, what do I do now? How do I set up awareness or intention for what I want next? Got it, okay. So what if debt if your fear of debt is the problem? Instead of looking at, oh my God, I need to do everything I can to pay off this debt, look at the fear of the debt, okay? The fear is the most important thing. As you become aware of the fear, address the fear, and start navigating your way through it, the debt becomes secondary, A, and B, it becomes easier to pay it off or look at it. It becomes more positive. If you look at debt, like I said, as supporting you, then it's good. So if you're taking out a loan to, like I said, support your business or to support your family in a certain way or to create a new business, or say you've always had an idea for an app and you know you can do it, and you go get a credit card so you can go into developing this app. You are investing in yourself. You're investing in your greatness. You're investing in your power. You're investing in your future, and you're investing in your future self making millions of dollars based on the debt that you accrue in that moment. Okay, so if it's $1,000, if it's $10,000, if it's $20,000, it's all neutral, A, and B, how you feel, the fear that you wrap it in is what's going to cause the deteriorative energy of, oh my God, I'm in debt, as opposed to yes moment. This is a yes moment. Not only am I supported because someone was believed in me enough, even if it's a bank. I know we have a lot of fear and hatred and anger and negative connotations around banks. But if you are being given money, it's about, remember in our first day of talking, money is currency, currency is energy. So it's about the energy of support, right? So being supported, doesn't matter how it comes in, you are being supported by source, by the universe, by everything. So being in your yes moment about, okay, feeling some constriction, holy crap, know that the fear is coming up because when you invest in yourself, what you're saying is, I believe in myself and I'm gaining self-confidence. And if you haven't had confidence in your life because of attachment patterns, then that may be hard for you to take that money and accept it because you don't feel like you deserve it. Okay, so that's another part of the maybe negative programming or patterning around debt. Okay, so good investments versus bad investments. The debt is not the problem. Fear is the problem. Like I said, remember that when you are source and you show up safe and clear in your intentions, everything else rises up in your life to meet that. So when you make intention to be in a safe space or to break through that fear, everything around you is going to break up and break apart and meet you where you are. So let's say you have someone in your life that's really destructive. If you go into your own safe space and you create your own safe container and you do all this work, they will slowly rise up to meet you, or it might be painful, but they may not be able to meet you, or they may not be able to rise up with you, and that's okay. Know that people and things are sometimes with us for a season in order for us to rise up to meet ourselves where we should be, in order to show us that I'm better than this, and it's time for me to rise above and to break out of this pattern. And then the person goes away, and that's okay too. Remember, yes moment, take your yes moment, get a thing of ice cream, breathe into the fact that you know your boundaries, you understand that you've risen out of this place, and then that other person isn't possibly at that space where they can meet you there, and that's okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, we're getting down. I'm staying in time pretty good. 5:50. All right. For those of you on the East Coast, 8:50. For those of you in Australia, you're in the future. We are staying in time, which really makes my perfectionist self happy. Maybe I should get messy and just say, let's go over half an hour. No, I won't do that. I'm just kidding. Okay, so, all right. So next thing is a repeat after me statement. So, so let's go to the workbook where it says, so how do we embrace? So how do we embrace trust and surrender as it applies to money? How do we embrace trust and surrender as it applies to money? Now I put a mantra under here, repeat after me. This mantra supported myself and Scott so much when we created our own mastermind that we named the mastermind based on this statement. Know that you have the power and you are strong and resolved enough in your life, and you are powerful enough, and you matter. That's another thing I want to say. You matter. Your voice matters. Your shine matters. Your sparkle matters. Your the way that you do things matters. How you show up matters. Who you are matters. You could be in a vegetative state for the rest of your life and still be of worth, right? Of value. You don't have to do anything outside of yourself to be of worth and of value. Just by showing up in your life and breathing and being a human being and just being in your life and living, you are showing up in your worth. Okay, so know that. And I know that just came up to be said because I think some people in here need to hear it. It's very important you know that you are worthy just by being. Okay, so repeat after me. I am hereby. Actually, say it with me. Why not? Even if people are in your house, who cares? Remember, we're doing yes moments. We're breaking out of our patterns. If your pattern is to be quiet because, other people may hear me saying this silly thing. Say you're in a library, well, maybe not a library. You're in a library right now or a restaurant and you don't want people to look at you funny. Who gives a shit if people look at you funny? Okay? Just be yourself, right? So repeat after me. I am hereby making a pact with money by giving it permission to support me and giving myself permission to receive it. I am hereby making a pact with money by giving it permission to support me and giving myself permission to receive it. Okay? So this is so important. Know that money is just like any other person in your life. And if you show up and you say, let's make a pact, okay? And I saw this in a lot of your day 2 homework, that when you wrote a letter, or day 1 homework, that when you wrote a letter to money, you were saying, I'd like to change our relationship and show up for you. Know that when you show up for money, money's going to show up for you. And it's just going to make it happy like a child would if you were saying, let's go out and play, So when you show up to money this way, know that when you're saying, let's make a pact together, you're creating a sacred vow. And not only are you creating a sacred vow, but you're breaking the patterns that that may have been holding you back in the past that you don't want to hold you back anymore. So by making this pact, you are setting your intention, you are being aware of yourself, and you are stepping into empowered action, right? So empowered action includes this making a pact with money to support you. So also letting money know that that you're okay being safe with it. I'm okay being safe with you, money. I feel safety by being around you. I also feel safe when you're not there too, because I know and I respect your personal freedom, okay? So giving money permission to support you is going to be very important. If you don't know what it looks like in your life to give money permission to support you, just say it. Just say, I don't know how it looks because I've never done this. I have no clue how it looks to give you permission to support me, but I'm doing it just because I don't know what else to do. Or I'm doing it because it feels good. And I'm doing it because it's an intention I'd like to set right now. And so I'm going to give myself permission to receive you. Okay? I give myself permission to receive you. All right, I just got a connection thing, so I may cut out a few times here and there. Also, that gives me a little bit of a, whenever that happens, I know that Spirit's telling me, okay, it's time to shut off the video. So that's perfect timing because we're at the homework. Homework for tomorrow. How many of you feel so much better about where you are, the fear starting to dissipate, the stuff that you learned about attachment patterns, yet it's still heavy, but now you're like, okay, now I have a way to step forward. I have little tips and tricks. I have tools. I can go dance to Nirvana. I can go get some ice cream. I can do whatever it takes to support myself and love myself through this fear, okay? And know that fear coming to me is like a child crying that wants support and wants to be seen, okay? So your homework is, in regards to your relationship with money, how has fear worked for you? For you. How has it worked against you? Okay? And remember, if you don't know how to give money a pact to support you and to receive it, just keep repeating that over and over again. Breathe into it and it will slowly start to make sense. Again, if you're trying to make sense of stuff up here, it's not going to work. Drop in your body. Okay? So homework is, in regards to your relationship with money, how has fear worked for you? How has it worked against you? It's down here on the bottom of the page, okay? In regards to your relationship with money, how has fear worked against you? How has it worked against me? Against you, okay? One thing I'm noticing too is that remember how I was saying in day 2 about how people are saying, I want this and I want that. That's still in kind of a victim energy of I want that, but I'm not going to get it, right? So make sure that that you're using your words powerfully still, and instead of saying I need this or I should be doing this, I am committed to doing this. It is my intention to do this. And instead of I have to or I need to, I get to do this. So instead of I have to start doing this better, I get to start showing up like this. I'm blessed to show up and do this. It is my choice to show up and do this. So using your words very powerfully. Instead of saying I hope, I try, I want, I should, I could, I wish, I'm trying, I'm hoping, I am committed to. It is my intention to. I get to ... I am blessed to ... Okay? So that's another little tippy tricky. Okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Day 4 is a much bigger day. Day 4 is a huge, huge, huge day. We're going to be announcing the scholarship winners. We're going to be talking about the energy of giving and receiving, which is an amazing energy. Giving and receiving is all about how to give to yourself, how to give to others, how to receive without feeling like I need to do this for you, I need to do this for me, or you need to give me this. So this is all about how to give and how to receive from a space of love. And also we're going to be talking about the masculine energy, which is doing, action, and the feminine energy, which is to sit back, and sometimes it feels like doing nothing. Receiving can sometimes feel like doing nothing, but you're not. You're doing everything, okay? So we'll talk about giving and receiving. We'll then announce the scholarship winners, and then we'll talk about our 12-week program coming up that I cannot wait for you guys to join.